Hey there, and welcome. So, you're thinking about a serious career in securities research here in India? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we are going to break down the one certification that is basically the key to the whole profession. Let's dive right in.
I mean, that's the big question, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what a research analyst does. You're not just some person sitting behind a screen crunching numbers. No, you are literally influencing how money moves, how capital flows, and you're helping people build wealth. That is a huge responsibility, but wow, what a massive opportunity. And look, for a career that important, you can't just wing it. You need a benchmark, a gold standard, something that proves you know your stuff and you're committed to doing things the right way. This isn't just some online course you breeze through. Think of it more like the concrete foundation you're going to build your entire career on. Okay, so let's dig into why this particular certification is called the gold standard. And let me be clear, for a lot of folks, this isn't just recommended. It is an absolute non-negotiable requirement if you want to get your foot in the door professionally. The key word here? Mandatory. This isn't some optional badge you can get. This is the official competency benchmark. It was put in place by SEBI, that's the Securities and Exchange Board of India, the big regulator, for a very specific reason, to make sure that anyone, and I mean anyone, who's giving out research analysis is working from a high, consistent standard of both knowledge and ethics. It protects investors and the market itself. So who's the gatekeeper? Who's the one running the show and making sure this standard is upheld? Well, let's meet the official authority behind it all. And that would be NISM, the National Institute of Securities Markets. Think of them as the educational arm of the regulator. They're the ones officially tasked by SEBI to create and manage these certification exams. So what that means for you is, when you pass this thing, you're not just getting some random certificate. You're getting a credential that is backed, recognized, and respected by the top financial regulator in the entire country. That's a big deal. Okay, so this is a really important question. Who exactly has to take this exam? And as you can see, the list is pretty broad. It's not just for people with research analyst in their job title. It's for registered analysts, sure, but also anyone employed as one, partners of a research firm, and, this is the big one, anyone who prepares or publishes research reports. So the bottom line is, if your job involves touching a research report in any meaningful way, this certification is for you. Period. All right, so you get it. You probably need to take it. But what are you actually going to master? What's inside this thing? I want you to think about the curriculum like you're building out a professional toolkit. Each section adds a new essential tool you'll use every single day on the job. First up, you're going to build the foundation. We're talking about a deep dive into how the Indian securities markets actually work, getting fluent in all the terminology, and mastering the two fundamental ways of looking at an investment. You've got top-down, where you start with the big picture, the economy, and work your way down, and then you've got bottom-up, where you start with a specific company and work your way up. You need to know both. Next, we get to the real meat and potatoes of the job. This is where you learn to completely dissect an industry, to pick apart a company from every angle, the numbers, the management, the whole story. And of course, this is where you learn valuation, how to apply different models to figure out what a company is actually worth. This right here, this is the core toolkit of a research analyst. And the final piece of the puzzle is all about professionalism and ethics. See, it's one thing to have a brilliant idea in your head, but it's another thing entirely to communicate it effectively and legally. So this is where you learn how to write a truly professional research reports, and just as importantly, how to navigate the whole legal and regulatory environments. You gotta know the rules of the road. Okay, so you know what's on the syllabus. Now let's talk about the exam itself. I like to call it the certification gauntlet. It's not meant to be impossible, but it is a real challenge designed to make you prove you've mastered the material. So let's break down exactly what you'll be facing. Okay, let's run through the key numbers. First, you've got 16 comprehensive chapters to cover. The whole exam is out of 100 total marks. Your magic number to pass is 60%. And you've got exactly 2 hours on the clock to get it done. So what does the exam actually look like? Well, the vast majority of it, 92 questions, are your standard multiple choice. But then you've got 2 case-based scenarios. Each case gives you a little story or situation, and then you have to answer 4 questions about it. And this is actually a pretty clever design, because it tests not just what you know, but how you can apply that knowledge to a real-world problem. Okay, now I need you to listen very, very carefully to this next part, because this is probably the single most important rule of the entire exam. There is negative marking. For every single wrong answer, you will be penalized 25% of the marks for that question. Let that sink in. So what does that mean for you? It means that just randomly guessing is a terrible strategy. It will actively lower your score. You have to be smart about this. If you can narrow it down and make an educated guess between, say, two options, maybe it's worth the risk. But if you are totally clueless about a question, it's often much, much smarter to just leave it blank and move on. All right, we've covered the why, the what, and the how. You've got the full picture. So the only thing left to do is, well, to get started. Let's talk about how to take all this information and turn it into action. And here it is, your simple 3-step plan. Step 1, head over to the official website. That's nism.ac.in. Step 2, register for the exam. Make sure you pick the right one. It's the NISM Series VXI exam. And finally, Step 3, start learning. Don't try to cram. Be systematic. Go chapter by chapter and build that knowledge base, one block at a time. So there you have it. We've basically handed you the map. You know the destination, you know what the train looks like, you know the challenges you'll face, and you definitely know the rewards. So the only real question left is, are you ready to start the quest and officially become a certified research analyst?